Welcome to the Bourbon Van. I'm Phil.
I'm Julie, and we got a lot of bottles to talk about.
It's been a long time since we did one of these videos, since before our 100-day road trip. And if you can remember that video, we were sitting, it was snowing, it was 7 degrees, frigid. We were pulling these bottles out, ice was falling off of them. Little different story today. It's in the 80s, it's hot, the sun is coming right across my face. It's gonna be a nightmare to get the color balance right on this one during the editing, but you don't care about that. You want to know all about the bottles we've got in our recycling bin.
Don't worry, we didn't drink all these ourselves. We had lots of get-togethers, lots of whiskey tasting. We gave away samples to our Patreons, to our family, to our friends. So don't panic when you see the amount of bottles that we're gonna show you today.
So, okay, let's just get right to it here. We're gonna start with a kind of a large bottle here, a 1 liter. This is Glen Scotia Campbelltown single malt Scotch whiskey. Do you remember where we picked this up at?
Not exactly, but I do remember that we were traveling.
This is a duty-free pickup from Heathrow in London, aged in American oak barrels, finished in Pedro Jimenez casks, and 92 proof. This was a beautiful bottle, rich and gently smoky, and they got that part right.
They sure did.
So do we want this on the shelf again? Would we buy this exact same bottle? Well, since it's from duty-free, I don't even know if this is available by us. I would say for 50 bucks, excellent value, and yeah, I could see buying this bottle again if we pass that way. But honestly, we are really into bourbons and American single malt rye, that sort of thing, and we're just getting into Scotch. So pretty much when I run out of a Scotch whiskey, I'm looking for something different. So for me, as much as I enjoy this brand, at this moment in our whiskey journey, probably wouldn't buy this exact bottle again. I'd look for something a little different. Next up, we've got Whiskey Del Bock Dorado American Single Malt Whiskey. This is the first bottle that we finished off when we got back from our trip.
And I'll go on record to say we'd probably buy this one again, considering we bought a few bottles and this one is gone already.
Yeah, we love Whiskey Del Bock, honestly, and this Dorado is a very lightly mesquite smoked American single malt whiskey, tasting notes of campfire embers, tobacco, and chocolate. How could you not like that? $77, so for a 92 proof bottle, I'm usually on the fence about spending more than maybe $50 or $60 for a whiskey, but this one is very unique. There's not a ton of this out there. It can be kind of hard to find, especially mesquite smoked whiskey that's actually worth your time. I think that this is a fantastic one, and I will buy this one again. Right now we have the classic on the shelf. I like that one, but this is going to be the one that I keep on the shelf as we move ahead. And oh, by the way, if you'd like a taste of Whiskey Del Bock for yourself, we do have a single barrel of this that's currently available. I think there's maybe a dozen left, so go to thebourbonvan.com and click on single barrels or click the link in the description of this video. Oh, next up, it's a squatty little bottle.
Oh, that squatty little bottle. It's so cute, and I can't believe we actually finished this. How old do you think that bottle is?
More than a couple years.
I would wager that it's over 5 years, or 6 years, or 7 years old.
Yeah, whatever we spent for this, which I think it was probably 45 or 50 bucks. I'm guessing it's maybe more expensive than that now, but this is Woodford Reserve Double Oaked Barrel Finish Select Bourbon. And yeah, this was one of my first loves in bourbon, just because it was so unique when it came out back in, I think, the early 2000s was the first time I came across it anyways. Always liked this whiskey. I will say this one is very, very sweet.
Yeah.
The chocolate notes in this are fudgy and decadent, but for me, this whiskey is overly sweet.
It's a real solid dessert whiskey, so if you like that flavor profile, this is a win for you.
Yeah, if you like chocolate, this is a good whiskey for you. In my opinion, there are some double oaked bottles that I like better that I think deserve a spot on the shelf nowadays, so I probably won't be picking up another one of these unless I have a really good reason to, or I see a spectacular sale. And actually one of those bottles is in here. We're going to talk about it in just a second. This next bottle is the bottle that has replaced this one on our shelves and in our hearts. This is Old Forester's 1910 Old Fine Whiskey. A little more pricey. What was this one, about 60?
$60.
So 60 bucks. You're spending a little more for this 1910, at least where we're getting it at. 93 proof, but this one is a little bit more balanced, not quite so sweet. It's not just fudgy flavors. I like to say that this one's a banana split in a glass. Just love these. And this is one of Julie's absolute favorites. So will we buy this again? Yeah, we have to. Otherwise, Julie throws me out of the house.
I understand the appeal for beginner whiskey drinkers, but even all these years later, I still love the flavor profile. It's still a go-to whenever I'm looking for something sweet or desserty. I love it.
Yeah, can't tell you how many Friday nights I've asked Julie, what would you like me to pour you?
1910.
Next up, Evan Williams, 1783, small batch whiskey, 90 proof.
Yes, 100%. It was $22. It makes a perfect old fashioned.
Yeah.
I love to drink it neat. I don't care. Everybody likes it. It's delicious. The flavors are wonderful. $22. You can't go wrong.
This is probably our favorite budget sipper, just all around. It's got everything that we like, and yeah, great in a cocktail. That black walnut maple old fashioned that we like to make, this is the perfect whiskey for it.
So the next one's an expensive lady, but I feel like you're paying for the bottle here.
Yeah, cool bottle, honestly. And yeah, Redemption 10-year barrel proof rye whiskey, 116.2 proof. We've had this on the shelf forever. I will say, right after we started the channel, I found this bottle, and I didn't want to go over $100 on it. Didn't have to, luckily.
$98, it's steep.
I will say this, I was early on in my whiskey tasting journey, and while I enjoyed this whiskey, I didn't find the complexity or the nuance of it. As a new whiskey drinker, I never should have spent that kind of money on a bottle like this. Nowadays, would I buy this one again? Probably not. Too many other really good rye whiskeys out there that I can get for a lot less. In fact, as long as Pikesville is on the shelf, I don't think I need another rye whiskey like this. I liked this whiskey very much in the end, but ultimately, this is not a whiskey that I will spend that kind of money for again. Next up, we're going to Colorado. We got Stranahan's Diamond Peak Single Malt Whiskey. This is the 2023 edition, Extra Añejo Tequila Cask finished. And this bottle is 90 proof. Was I right on that? I sure was. What did we spend on this one?
$80.
Okay. I really enjoyed this whiskey for $80. I thought it was super unique, super interesting. Would I buy this one again? I wouldn't get this variation of it again. Each year they release a new batch that's been finished in other barrels. 2022, I think it was Bushmills Irish Whiskey barrels. I'm not sure what 2024's edition has in store for us, but this is one of those whiskeys that is for an adventurous palate, I feel like. If you're like me and you just constantly want to try something new, that's where Diamond Peak comes in. There's always something fun to explore. So I'm looking for the 2024 edition just to try something unique. Would not revisit the 2023 because ever forward.
Always something new on the shelf.
Absolutely. Let's keep it going with the American Single Malt van. This is Westland American Single Malt Whiskey, cask number 5699, single cask release, cask strength. Got it right here in Bend, Oregon at Trailhead Liquor. And this is their 5 malt barley blend finished in a tequila cask. So 2 straight tequila cask finished American Single Malt Whiskeys. I loved this bottle. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Again, purchased this one because it had such a unique profile to it, because I wasn't sure what to expect from it and really wanted to try it. I have to say, for $100 though, right? That's what we spent on this one. What do you think?
Well, I really enjoy that one. When you get into the $100 range, that is pricey.
Yeah.
Even for a collector, you're a little bit choosier with what you want. But let me tell you, we had a couple gatherings. We gave everybody a taste of this. They loved it.
Yeah.
So if you have $100 and you want to venture into this kind of lane, I think it could be a buy if you have the money for it.
Yeah, particularly if you've got like a group and you all want to try something like this. If everybody pools their money and you scoop up something like this, or again, like Julie said, if you're a collector, or if you have an adventurous palate, want to try it out.
Right.
There are several of these casks out and about, so I don't know if I'll buy this specific one again, but I'm always on the lookout for American Single Malt Whiskey single barrels from Westland, because 100% of the time they're delicious. So whether I get this one or another one, I will definitely buy another Westland American Single Malt cask strength single barrel.
2 $100 bottles back to back.
And this is our 3rd straight American Single Malt Whiskey. So this is the last one that's in here, I think. I haven't checked all of these, but this is Redwood Empire's Foggy Burrow Single Malt Whiskey, 100% malted barley for $100. Man, this was our most anticipated bottle of the year, and we scooped it up on our road trip and enjoyed it. I liked it better than you did.
Yeah.
But to be completely honest, for $100, this is not a whiskey that I will buy again. Even though I enjoyed it, it doesn't scratch that $100 itch for me.
Agreed. We definitely had a party, and it was an old elk party, because 3 bottles for you, completely empty.
Yeah, this is Old Elk back to back to back. We've got the, what is this? Wheat whiskey, wheated bourbon, and rye whiskey. The rye and the wheat whiskey are 100 proof. The wheated bourbon is 92 proof. What were the prices on these?
We got the rye at $80, the wheat whiskey at $65, and the wheated at $70.
Oh boy. Okay, so easy decisions for me. That wheated bourbon, you know, I thought it was okay. And I know it's a little more complex than a lot of the wheated bourbons out there. It is nuanced, but it didn't really thrill me all that much. I don't know about you, but I would buy a Maker's Mark or a Larceny in the $20 range. I know they're not quite as good as this, but I'm also not that huge of a fan of wheated bourbon. I don't know if you're with me on this.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that one.
All right, so the wheated bourbon goes back in. Next up is the rye. You said that was $80 for a 100 proof rye.
Yep.
That's aged 5 years. Okay. The toppers are cool, no doubt about it, you know, and the bottles look great. I don't think I could do that again. There's too many great ryes.
Yeah, and it all comes down to the price point of some of these bottles. It's not that we didn't enjoy them. Some of them we really, really liked, including this one.
Yeah.
It's just $80 is a lot for a rye whiskey.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last one here is the cheapest of the bunch, right? The straight wheat whiskey. And what's interesting about this one is I've never been a wheat whiskey fan, but this is the one that when we tasted them head to head, this is the one that we liked. So if there was one that I would keep on the shelf, it is this one, but I'm not a wheat whiskey fan anyways. So I don't know that I would say that I would ever buy any of these to put them back on the shelf. In my opinion, if these were maybe $15 cheaper each, they would be a much better buy, but I understand there's plenty of Old Elk fans out there, and they do make some very high-end whiskeys. And you know, Greg used to be the distiller at MGP, so there's a pedigree there and a lot of great choices being made to make great whiskey. But these just don't hit my palate the way that I know they hit other people's palates. So for me, none of these is a buy again.
And for me, if I was going to buy one of these, this wheat whiskey is the way to go.
This is going to be the last rye of the bunch, I think.
And this is the saddest one for me.
Yeah, this is John A.P. Connolly Limited Reserve Rye Whiskey, barrel proof from Bogue Sound Distillery, 114 proof. This was a gift to the channel from our friend Marty from Whiskey Knows. It was, your #1 rye of last year?
Yep, it won the Advent tournament for me. I was obsessed with it. It was actually my whiskey of choice that I brought with at my 50K, my celebration drink. We only had a little bit left. I saved it for that occasion. Yeah. That's how much I love this bottle.
Yeah, and my understanding is that they're not putting it in this shaped
I know,
glass
it's so
anymore,
pretty, yeah.
Which is really a shame because it's like sort of like a Eastern European war memorial or something like that. I really liked the shape of this one. It was always fun to pour out. It felt like a decanter. So bummer to see this whiskey go away. Bummer to see this cool bottle go away. But we enjoyed the heck out of it, and it's not even available here. But if it was, yes, absolutely. Love the unique flavors of this one. The tobacco notes are insane. So if you like tobacco on your whiskey, check this one out. And yeah, if we ever see it, we will buy it.
So it feels like we've cleared the shelf of some higher price bottles, and we love this brand, but it came in at $80.
Yeah, Still Austin's Bottled and Bond. This is their new Bottled and Bond seasonal series. They release them 4 times a year. This is the high rye bourbon whiskey. I think this was fall 2023. Yeah, and so there you go, 4-year age, 100 proof whiskey for $80. Kind of a hard pill to swallow. The first 2 releases in this series I wasn't crazy about, the red corn bourbon or the high rye bourbon whiskey. However, the blue corn was amazing. Top 5 whiskey for me last year. And the rye that they just released this spring, unbelievable. One of our favorite bottles so far this year. It's so decadent, it drinks so well. The flavors are unique in both of those latest 2 releases from Still Austin. So that Bottled and Bond series, $80, pricey, but the last 2 releases I would definitely buy again. I thought they're fantastic. So even though this one doesn't make the list for us, the other ones do. And I think that's it. There was a lot of glassware in here, but we made it. We got to the mountaintop together.
So what bottles have you guys finished off that you'll definitely buy again?
From wherever we are
to wherever you are.
Cheers.
Cheers.